Jingle bells, Burky and Badger smells. Do 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 do. Do
Oh,
do
oh,
do.
oh, 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 oh. Merry Christmas. Oh, 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 oh.
Ho ho ho! Now I have a tambourine.
So, my good friend Barry, you been naughty or nice? Double. How are you, my friend?
I'm very well, Mr. Kevin Bugkiller Shire. And hello, audience. Hello, welcome to this special one-off edition Christmas special that we decided to pull together last minute for you guys. And we thought we'd do a top 10 list.
Oh, we've got some awesome top 10 stuff coming up, man. Oh, yeah, baby.
Yes. Looking very festive there, Chuck.
Making a list and checking it twice. Gonna find out which games are naughty and nice. Because Santa Claus is coming to YouTube.
It looks lovely and snowy where you are, chap. For those of you listening to the audio podcast, there is snow behind Kevin.
It's winter in Minnesota, and it's about 20 degrees Fahrenheit, and we have about 4 or 5 inches of snow, fresh snow on the ground, and the lights are sparkly, and the trees are glistening, and it's all about Christmas.
Yeah, I wish I could say the same in France here. It's very warm at the moment. We're getting like 15 degrees, so I can go outside in my jumper and jeans and walk swiftly through the tulips, which are pushing through the ground for some strange reason, and the daffodils. It's very bizarre weather we've got here.
Do you normally get any snow at Christmas time?
Normally, yes. Lots of snow. More than England, anyway. So... well, more than the south of England, and I say something. Even England's having a heat wave as well for some strange reason. Maybe it's Australia coming over or something. I don't know.
Well, 2 weeks ago, I was out in North Dakota, and it was 49 degrees Fahrenheit, and we were hunting, which is very odd for this late in the season. Most of our lakes are not even have full ice over them yet. There's open water on lakes. At this time of the year, a lot of people are out ice fishing with 6 to 8 inches of ice.
Wow.
Yeah.
And chainsaws.
Yeah. Ice augers, fishing gear, and fish houses. I mean, we know how to party in the winter up here.
I bet you do. So anyway, chap, what have you been up to? What are you going to be up to for Christmas?
Well, we've been up to, our family goes out to this lodge. It's a youth lodge that's out on a lake. And every year, my family rents that thing. My wife has 10 brothers and sisters, and so the whole crew is out there. Yeah, there's about 70, 80 people, and it's just crazy, chaotic time. Lots of fun, lots of food, cookies, peanut butter balls, anything with peanut butter, I'm in.
Peanut butter fish and chips.
Oh, I just put peanut butter on anything. It's good. And anyway, then we played some games and had a great time with family. And we're actually celebrating Christmas with the rest of our family the weekend after Christmas, that Saturday. So kind of gearing up, lots of busy stuff happening. How about you, buddy?
Well, I've been playing Operation, and I don't mean that. Let me get up. There you can see.
Oh no!
I've had an operation on my elbow because I've got like tennis elbow and golfer's elbow at the same time, and so I'm going to be off work for the Christmas period. Kind of. No, if you could be off work for the Christmas period, yeah. But I'm going to be out of action for a little while. But I'm going to try and do. Well, obviously, I'm going to do a podcast with you, my good friend, and just try and have fun with the family. Yes, I've got 2 families. I've got to go across the border to see the ones in England and then spend Christmas. So I'm going to have like 2 Christmases, which is really nice.
Woohoo!
I really like that. So I'm looking forward to that.
Oh, I bet there's going to be a lot of board game playing in the Double home, huh?
I wish I could be positive about that one. I know that my sister will play. Unfortunately, my dad's health is affecting him. So he's not going to be playing any games because he has trouble retaining the rules.
Sure.
Then
you'll be back home playing with your family in France?
Yeah, probably, yes. Yes.
Yeah, we're going to try to get in a bunch of gameplays today. In fact, this evening we're going to bring out Kemet and play a epic 4-player version of Kemet that we've been waiting to play with.
Ooh, 4 players is pretty cool.
Well, I tell you, what I think we're going to do is we're going to go right into our good, the not so bad, and the ugly segment. But we're doing something really different. We think this will be a lot of fun. Normally our good, the not so bad, and ugly is a first impression type of rating system. Good meaning we just love it, think this is going to be a fantastic game. The not so bad, we don't think they're bad games. We just think that, well, they don't really make the good category, but they're good produced games, that type of thing. We like them. And then the ugly is ones that our first impression is that we just don't care for them, or there's something we personally don't like about them. And so we rate that. But we decided to do something really fun for Christmas, doing a top 10. We're going to give you our bottom 2 of 2015 that would meet that ugly category. Then we're going to do the not so bad. We're going to give you 3 of our choices that we think are pretty good games, not so bad. And then our top 5, the good games of the year.
Mm-hmm. The best. What will you think anyway?
Well, and one thing I think we probably need to caveat, you can tell me how you rate your games, Barry, but I feel that obviously 2015 was a fantastic gaming year. Just hundreds and hundreds of games came out. I honestly have not been able to play all the games, and honestly, I haven't been able to play a lot of these games multiple times. Mm-hmm. And I think to do justice and fairness to any review, you really should be playing the game several times so you get a really good feel of how it plays with different player counts, all that kind of stuff. I'm not always able to do that, honestly, so these are impressions. 2 notable things that are on my list that I probably need to caveat is I have not played Time Stories, and I have not played Pandemic Legacy. And a lot of people are rating those fantastically. They may be fantastic, I don't know, but they're not going to be on my list because I haven't experienced them. How do you feel about all that, Barry?
Well, definitely for my ugly section, they are first impressions which are going to last a long time, and probably games that I'm never going to play again unless gunpoint kind of situation. My bad games are games that I have played at least once, probably twice, and these are games that I'm probably going to play again just to get a better feel and a bit of understanding of them. And obviously my good games are games that I've already played. Let's have a look at them. I've played some of them about 6-7 times already this year. So that's how I've rated the games. And these are the games that have come out in 2015, not the games that come out last year or the year before, which I'm still playing, because you can obviously watch my top 10 list on my YouTube channel to find out what games I like overall. Yes. And then maybe you can cheat and look at the answers there, because so my good games are nearly all of them are in the top 50.
Fantastic. Yeah, I loved your top 50, by the way, Barry. Just super fun. You did such a great job of that, and I loved your perspective on how you rate games and ones that are fun. Not just necessarily the most popular ones, but the ones that are most popular for you and and your type of gaming. And that's what's so great about the hobby, is that there's a lot of individuality and there's room for us to have different taste in gaming. And so while I might have a game that I hate, that doesn't mean that it's a game you shouldn't like. If you like it, man, more power to you. Have at it.
And again, another caveat for me is I have played Time Stories, but I haven't played Pandemic Legacy or Blood Rage.
Oh, there you go.
So we're kind of equal on those grounds there.
Well, that's fantastic. Well, let's just get into it. Let's put up the meme. You can go ahead and give the description.
Okay, the ugly, the Grinch. Oh dear, the words have gone to the top of the screen.
he goes and he says, "I'm going to change everyone's Dominion and Magic cards, and I'm leaving everybody exploding kittens."
That would
You're
be
a mean one,
Mr. Grinch.
You're a mean one, Mr. Grinch.
That
You got cobwebs in your soul.
Oh, that would be a horrible Christmas present to receive exploding kittens, I think.
Well, and by the way, our theme is The Grinch Who Stole Christmas. It is absolutely my favorite Christmas movie. I don't know what your favorite Christmas movie is, but I love The Grinch. I love the cartoon. And then when the Jim Carrey version came out, I mean, I love it.
My favorite Christmas movie is Die Hard.
Yeah, do some Bruce Willis.
So we crack on with our number 10s, our ugly games.
All right, what's your number 2 ugly game of 2015?
Okay, I'm going to cheat and I'm going to go to Board Game Geek because I didn't bother to load the pictures up. My number 10, or my most ugly game, is this dude here. It's called Baby Blues. Okay, I've already spoken about this in a podcast with you, Kevin. Can you remember why I don't like this game?
I don't remember why you don't like it. I do remember you talking, but boy, that's an ugly picture.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, you're talking about me or the picture?
No, yeah, you're ugly too. You ugly. No, you're beautiful. Look at that that shiny,
Scalp.
majestic head.
I shouldn't have taken my hat off. I really shouldn't take my Christmas hat off.
Oh, man.
Yeah, Baby Blues. Baby Blues is a not trick-taking game. It's just a take that game where you have some cards in front of you and they represent your babies because you're responsible for a kindergarten and you've got to just keep them all happy. But unfortunately, other players have got the same thing. They got their 5 kids in front of them and they're trying to make your kids unhappy by playing a card on you, whether they've made your baby poo themselves or they've stolen the dummy, and then you've got to play cards to calm. And it looks cute and adorable, but it's a take that game that we could do without. It just really mind-numbingly dull. And then the worst thing about it is your babies have points underneath them, hidden underneath them, so you're playing them out and you don't know which one's which. And you count up the points at the end of the game of the babies that are not crying. So it's, I wouldn't say it's a game to avoid. I can see there's going to be people that are going to enjoy making other babies cry by putting poop in their nappies. But I'm sorry, this game is just pants. Nappies, I should say nappies. This game is nappies. Diapers. Diapers filled with doo-doo.
Baby Blues.
Yeah, Baby Blues. There you go. That's my worst game of the year, probably.
Is that your number 2 or your worst game?
Well, I put them in order of 10 to 1. So, like, I've started with the bottom 2, which is 10 and 9, which are the ugly games, and then 8, 7, 6, which are my bad games, and then obviously my 5 to 1 is my good games.
Okay, but is this? Do you have? We're going to do two ugly games. Is this your ugliest, or is this your second ugliest?
Okay, yeah, and this is not the ugliest.
Okay, this is your second ugliest.
Yeah.
Okay, I have a second ugliest, and I just actually played it this weekend, and I wasn't interested in it to begin with. And had I not played it, I had another game ready. But after I played this one, I went, oh boy, I knew I wasn't interested in it when it hit Kickstarter. And this is the weird part about some things that are popular that I don't care for. And this was can you guess what the game is? Kickstarter.
Is it the kittens game, the exploding kittens?
Exploding kittens.
Oh, wow, guess there.
That's exactly right. That's why I put that in the meme just as a little vagity. But I played this thing and the people were really excited to have this game. And I just smiled and I played and I listened. I thought the rules were horrible. I thought Card play was horrible. I didn't enjoy it at all. And I was just like, oh, I don't want to be a gaming snob here. I want them to have a good time. And so I tried to ham it up and have fun with them. And I was like, oh, I just want to go get a peanut butter cookie.
but they had a good time.
I think they were a little confused by it too. They weren't really getting the game, and so I don't know. I thought it stunk.
Like a kiddie tray, leather tray. Yeah.
Gosh, what do you say? You know, I hate to be negative, so this category even bothers me because I don't get that many games that I don't like. I don't review that many. I buy games that I've reviewed and that I enjoy, so I don't usually end up with these. But
yeah.
Anyway, that's my second worst game, ugly game. So what's your first worst, ugliest game of 2015?
Okay, let's go to Board Game Geek and do a screen share. Ooh. Here we go with the magic of technology. There we go. Octodice.
Oh no.
Does that look familiar?
No, I don't remember. Did we talk about this? It looks great.
No, we haven't talked about this. This is a game I played at Essen, and it's based on the artwork from the Stefan Feld game. I read it down. Aquasphere.
Aquasphere, yeah.
So that's why it looks familiar, probably.
Yeah, it looks fun.
Yeah, it looks fun and cute and adorable. It's a nice small box, and it's a dice rolling game.
Oh.
And
I like dice.
Yes, I'm trying to think of the best way to describe it. Well, for me personally, it makes me like Yahtzee more than this. It's the same kind of thing. You roll the dice 3 times. There's 6 dice, and they all got different icons on them. And after each roll, you have to save. Sorry, guard is French. You have to save 2 dice. So you roll the dice 3 times, technically. And then you use these results on a little scoring pad. And the scoring pad is the game, basically. The dice is just an accessory to the game. And so like you'll have your results. So you'll have like maybe yellow and robot. And so you'll mark off yellow robot in a box. Okay. And then there's a submarine and an octopus. If you get 3 octopuses or something, it does something else. And you've got an octopus is a bad thing, but at least you need 2 of them at the end of each round to get some kind of point, some kind of compensation. But they kind of like the block. But each result you can save to do a different thing. I didn't really understand the story of the game, but you're getting resources. And each kind of resource you collect in a different way. There's one you got to collect in order. So I think it was the colors you got to collect in order. So you got to get the yellow one first, and then the red one, and then you can tick the boxes off. And then there's other ones where you can just get loads of like submarines. And the more submarines you get, the more points you get. And if you get a worker to go on the submarine, it gets a bonus point. And it was dull and boring because it's like a case of one person rolling the dice, you watch what they do. Oh, that actually there was a nice thing about it. At any time another player, when the active player has their dice results, the other players can like say, yeah, I'll take that dice, and they can mark it off on their sheet. You know, so if there's like a color in the chain that they need to do, then they can just mark it off. But you can only do that a restricted amount of times. That was the interesting thing. You know, there was this interactivity. But the game as a whole was Yahtzee with a theme, but it just felt worse than Yahtzee. I just didn't feel excited. With Yahtzee, I feel excited. You know, what should I go for? What combination should I go for? Should I go for the run? Or should I go for the same? Which boxes have I filled? But this, it didn't have that flair, and it was like, okay. It was kind of like disappointment. You get to see the nice box, you see the nice dice, and then the game is just the sheet, and you scribble, you cross boxes, and it was like, okay.
Yeah, I hear you. I think that's one of the things that makes a worst game for me an ugly game, and that's why my worst game of 2015 has something to do with expectation. And this is a game that I highly I had a lot of expectation, positive. I couldn't wait to get it. I'd heard so many great things. And this is kind of tricky because this isn't a true 2015 game. It's been remade in 2015.
Ah.
And so maybe that's a little unfair. But can you guess what it is?
Okay, so it's been remade in 2015. If you got any more clues, is it a mini game?
No, it's a full-blown game. Co-op.
Yeah, but I mean with minis.
It's got a couple minis.
Cards. Is it dice rolling game? Is it?
No.
Is it designed by anyone in particular?
Yeah, it's a designer did it. And a very famous game company produced it.
Okay, so I'm going to say Fantasy Flight produced it.
Yep.
Okay, I think I know what it is. Yeah, Fury of Dracula, 3rd edition.
Fury of Dracula, 3rd edition. Now, I gotta caveat it too because I know this is a very popular game. People love this game. This is for me, okay? I don't think it's really an ugly, badly produced game. I don't believe that at all. For me, though, this brings out the worst thing about co-ops for me. We had a wonderful game group that I played with, wonderful people that I've played tons of other games with that normally we just have a blast. But this game brought out that alpha gamer, its hidden movement, which I don't generally like anyway. And then you've got Dracula doing things that you can't know, and everybody thinks they know what he's doing, and the truth is we don't know. But everybody's pushing their well, we have to do this, and the problem with that type of game for me, the artwork on the game is really beautiful. The minis are cool. I think the way they designed the cards, even for the movement for Dracula, and that was really innovative. And from what I understand, it's really streamlined from the other games. So I'm kind of apologizing a little bit because I do believe the game is a good game. But for me, I hated it. You know how bad I hated it. I've never done this before, but I sent it back. I had bought this game from Cool Stuff because it was on my pre-order forever. Yeah. And I was so excited about getting it. I heard so many good things, and I just couldn't wait to get it. And then they had a flash sale right when my pre-order came in, when it was available, and I bought it. I got it shipped to me, and then I played it at BGG Con, and I went, oh, God, this was the stupidest thing I've ever done. And normally I wouldn't send a game back. You know, you got to pay the shipping, but Cool Stuff is really good about that on a return. So I ate the $9 to send it back to them, and I got my credit because I just knew that I don't want to play it.
Well, another bright side to that is you removed something from your shelf of shame.
Yes, my shelf of shame. Hey, there's good news about that. The shelf of shame is moving in a very positive light. But there has been some hiccups, and you're going to see that on Board Game Breakfast next week about my shelf of shame. So there you go.
I can't wait to see that.
Well, we're going to move on to our next section, which is the not so bad. And here we've got the Grinch talking to his dog.
Aww.
And what does the Grinch have to say? The Grinch is saying, I'll trade you 1 wood for 1 wheat and 2 ore. And the little dog says, does he think I'm a moron? I don't know, Rathro. That's awesome.
Deary
yeah,
me.
The Grinch is a trickster, isn't he?
He's tricksy.
Tricksy. So what is your third most not so bad game of 2015?
I keep pushing the wrong buttons. This is really hard doing with the left hand. So bear with me and screen share. It's a game called Pitch Fleet. Have you heard of this one?
I haven't.
It's a dexterity game. and you can play up to 4 players. And each player has a disc, which is their spaceship, and you create 2 teams. And you have like a random board. You can create these boards with these big tiles which have planets on them. And then you have a deck of cards, and you turn over the top card, and it'll tell you what planet you've got to get to. And so the teams are trying to be the first team to get to the planet. And obviously there's asteroid belts everywhere, which means that you take a damage, so you lose like a life energy. There's other planets where you can collect bonuses. And then there's this special power cards as well, which you can collect. So you can give you like a second flick, or you can do a pick up and drop, or other special powers that you can do. And it wasn't too bad a game. I'm not really a fan of dexterity games.
Oh.
I like the idea of them. I mean, I have 2 dexterity games in my collection, but yeah, this is not bad. It's a small box. It's a small game. It's pretty much portable, but it was good laugh, especially playing as a team. A one-on-one, I think, would be a bit dull.
Huh.
But yeah.
That sounds good. I just got Flick 'em Up. It's on my shelf of shame though. I haven't played it yet, but that has that dexterity element that everybody has been raving about. So.
Yeah, but that looks smart. This didn't look too, doesn't jump up at you. It looks kind of like mediocre kind of game, the discs and the star fields. But what can you do with this spaceship game? Make it look.
Yeah, that's
poppy.
fantastic. Okay, I've got to say something on my not so bad. My not so bad were really not games that I thought were meh. Normally my first impression for not so bad rating is that, well, it was okay, but there was something I really didn't like. For this purpose of our top 10, my not so bad are actually games that just missed my top 5. It's almost like an extended list, because these are games I actually really do like, but I couldn't put them in the good category.
Ooh, devious, yeah. That is.
So I'm kind of messing with you here, Barry, but
you are indeed.
This thing was so hard.
I know, but and again, we did it short notice as well.
Yeah, but I mean, there's so many great games this year. I got an honorable mention. Honorable mention. This isn't my top 3, but this is the honorable mention.
Stockpile.
The
Australian version.
Yeah, the Down Under. Yep, put a few shrimps on the barbie, eh?
Hey, mate. Yeah.
Well, Stockpile, I just love this game. It has an economic theme to it, and the stock is going up and down, and you've got these little hidden information where you get a little bit of insider information. But it was super great family fun, and you know that I really enjoy family-style medium weight games. That was just right in our wheelhouse. Loved it so much. But honorable mention. But my third best, not so bad, of 2015 is a game from a company that normally makes children's games. And they just, no, not Haba. They just started moving into this foray of full-blown game, play board game. And it's a company called Blue Orange Games. And Blue Orange, this is a game I just really think is fantastic.
Wow.
New York, 1901. And I just, the artwork of this game is fantastic. The tile placement, it gives you a little bit of that Ticket to Ride-ish feel. You're building up skyscrapers, but then you actually kind of have to demolish them to get extra points. There's some interesting card play that allows you to kind of dominate different streets, if you will, for endgame scoring. And the game is very accessible. It's very easy to get to the table. And every time we've played it, it's just been a blast. And we all are just, for me, I think it has a lot of legs to it. I think it's probably primed for an expansion. This is a game that I think we'll be playing a long time, and so that's why it made my list.
I don't know if I should say this, but I've been talking to the designer.
Ah.
And he's working on a card game version of this.
Oh, really?
Interesting. Yeah.
Well, it's fantastic. I think it's marvelously produced. It's got a great insert too.
Oh yeah, yeah. You don't need Robert steering for that, then.
Not for that one. Well, and then so go ahead and let me know what your top third
bad game is.
Not so bad.
No, it's not so bad. It's second to third. Okay, let's go back in time.
This is your second. You already did your third. Your top second.
This is getting confusing. This is like talking about Doctor Who and which Doctor played in what show.
He played in a Star Trek episode, right?
Yeah, he played in several. But I played a game which people were raving about, and it was called The Game.
The Game.
Which is a card game by Stefan Benedorf.
Bendorf.
Nanu.
Bendorf.
And it's a very simple card game where you're trying to put cards out. It's a co-op game where you're not allowed to talk to the other players, and you can play cards to the table, and you've got to do them either in ascending or descending order. There's 4 piles, so 2 will be ascending from 1 to 100, and the other 2 piles are descending from 100 to 1. And that's it. You on your turn, you've got to try and play a card which is either higher than one of the other cards or lower than one of the other cards, and you play as many as you can. At the end of your turn, you pick up some more cards. The play goes to the next player, and the object of the game is to all the players to remove all their cards from their hand. There is a slight caveat to that rule. If you have a card which is 10 different, so if on the ascending pile there's a 36 and you have a 26, you can actually put that on top of it and bring that number back down a bit. And if you have a 16 as well, you could play that on top to bring it back down, and then you have to start building up again. So it's a way of getting around being stuck in the game. The game is, it's not that it's not fun. It actually is fun. It's a fun mechanic. You know, it's like playing solitaire with other players. But it's the abysmal art. The fact that there's no theme whatsoever, it's just like an abstract card game. It kind of puts you off wanting to buy it, I think. It definitely put me off of buying it, but I don't mind playing it, which is the strange thing. Have you played the game?
I haven't, and when it got nominated, it was nominated for the Spiel des Jahres, correct?
Yeah, and it won.
And it wins. And no, I thought, no, that's not right, is it?
No, that's not right. We're going to have to edit this out.
Yeah, we know what we're talking about board games.
Yeah, we have to get some.
No, I know when it was nominated for the Spiel des Jahres, so many of us did not, we didn't know what this game even was over here in the United States. And I think, honestly, most of us still don't.
You're not missing out. It's fun. It's like just a card game, your regular poker deck, and you're playing solitaire with 4 other players, but you're not allowed to talk, and you got to all try and win together. Kind of Hanabi meets solitaire.
Okay, but, yeah.
It's not bad. You should try it. That's why it's in my not bad. I just said it there. It's not bad.
Go ahead and look up the Spiel des Jahres.
Okay, and then I can cut and paste this into the audio mix.
Yeah, take out our idiot. Because I thought, wasn't it Broom Service, or I'm not sure why
it was.
I kind of get the Kennerspiel and the Kinderspiel and the Spiel des Jahres sometimes kind of mixed up.
There will be a short break. 2015 Broom Service, and the game. Yeah, it got nominated, but it was Colt Express that won last year.
Oh, of course. Colt Express. I just played the expansion Stagecoaches at Christmas, so I got that off my shelf of shame. and we had a blast playing that. And I highly agree with that selection.
What, have you had Christmas there already?
Yeah, for the woohoo.
What did you get as presents?
Well, I bought me a present.
And it was Colt Express, Stagecoach, and okay.
It's Christmas all the time, every day of the year here.
I can't think of the song now. Every day's Christmas. Oh no.
Where are you, Christmas? Why can't I find you? Yeah, that sucks. Okay.
That puts it mildly.
Okay, my number 2, not so bad, is actually one of my favorites, and didn't make my best of the year list, but is a game that is produced by Passport Games. I believe it's Argentum Verlag, and the designer is Arv Fuller. And this is a game called El Gaucho.
The cow game.
Oh, the cow game. This is just so much fun. Every time we've played it, it kind of has an ascending way that you put your cows together. It's an auction worker placement type of mechanism. There's dice rolling, and you can place these dice that become your workers and your gauchos over on to acquire these cows, and they're numbered from 12 to 1, I believe. And if you get a 12, then you want to get a 10 and an 8, and you go in that order, and then you get to sell them, and you get to get points. And just the collection method and the worker placement. You can even be a wrangler and wrangle a cow away from one of your opponents. And, it's just a lot of fun. I love the little cartoony artwork. It's a great family, medium weight game, easy to teach, but a lot of choices. It's surprisingly deep in its strategy. When you bring it out to the board, you're kind of like, wow, this is going to be just a simple little nothing type of thing. But it's actually, there's a lot going on, and it's always different. The replayability is fantastic. It's always going to have a different feel to it, and we love it. So definitely in the top two there of my not so bad.
Yeah, it's very nice, very nice. Very moving to hear.
Moving. Well done.
Movie. Okay. My last of my bad games of the year
Not
is...
so bad games.
Well, not so bad, yeah, sorry. What do you think? Good, bad, ugly, bad, not so bad. Is this game called Thrash and Roll? I like it. Yes. It is it is a game.
You like that?
I'm going to ignore that.
That's what they call Santa headbanging. I just knocked my hat off.
Oh dear. Oh dear.
Okay. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
That's right. It's a dice rolling worker placement game where you're rolling your dice and you're placing them in the appropriate boxes. There's boxes which have you need poker hands like runs. There's boxes where you need straights. There's boxes where you can just put any number in, and each box does a different action. You can either recruit a band member, you can recruit a fan, you can train your band members. You have 5 band members, so bassist, guitarist, drummer, singer, and another one, to give their skills better. And then you can release a single, and then you can try and push that. When you release the single, it depends on the skill level of your band. You can do concerts, which will give you popularity and fans, and then you can perform a big concert with a very, very well-known Polish band. I think the game's from Poland or something like that, because all the bands in the game are real bands in the country this game is made in. I can't remember what it is, but it also comes with the CD of all the bands which are in the game as well, so you can listen to that while playing the game. Wow. But that's basically it. You're recruiting fans, you're training your musicians, you're releasing singles, you're creating albums, and you're trying to go platinum, and you're doing concerts, and it's you know, it's a nice idea, but it just feels very dry and but it's not a bad game. I won't say no to playing it again. I'll probably play it again with the actual soundtrack. That might give me a bit more inspiration. I think the other thing which kind of puts this on my bad list is the fact that my friends I was playing with, they lapped me on the scoreboard, so I got lapped by 100 points.
Wow.
And I'm the musician.
It sounds like the theme is fantastic, and the, you know, the poker mechanism, worker placement, that sounds like a game I would really like. Yeah,
you might like it, but you might find that the thing doesn't come through that well. It's a tiny bit adult, some of the artwork, but apart from that, the artwork is kind of cartoony, kind of Beavis and Butthead style.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I think there's like a drawing of one of the board game reviewers in there as well somewhere. I don't know, I can't remember which one.
Wow.
It might be Raldo, it might be Ryan Metzler, but I think there's someone in there.
Wow.
So that's Thrash and Metal, a dice roller worker placement rock band generator. Not bad. Not bad.
Well, my number one, not so bad, which actually is pretty good, and it's a game that I first played at Dice Tower Con with Sean Ramirez from the Dukes of Dice. Or no, excuse me, I didn't play it with Sean. I played it with a couple guys from Canada, And we played this game. No, but we had just such a fun time playing it. And one of the things that got me so excited about this particular game is everybody has a player power, a player character that seems so incredibly overpowered that when you get it, you think, oh, I'm going to win this game because it's so cool. And then somebody else explains their power and you go, ah, that's too good. And everybody goes, oh, that's so fantastic. And this is a game where you're actually traveling and you're doing some voyages.
Marco
Polo from Z-Man Games. The artwork on this game and the production value, I think, is fantastic. Loved everything about it, just the thickness of the card tiles, the artwork of the game. It's a dice rolling mechanism that becomes a worker placement type of thing there too. You can several pass to get victory points. You can complete these little events or little agendas, or you can go on voyages. And if you go to different cities, it costs you different resources. But then you can get extra points and extra abilities once you take those cities. These player abilities, I know some people have had problems with this, but I love it. I just think it's fantastic.
Yeah.
I can understand where people could be a little frustrated with it, and so that's why it didn't make my totally good list. My game group is pretty positive on the game, and I haven't played it with my kids yet. But I got a feeling they're going to really like it. And so it just fits our whole wheelhouse. Voyages of Marco Polo, it's a not so bad, really a good game in my opinion.
Yeah, it made my list of good games because I did this list properly, unlike some people. Yeah, so ow. Yeah, it's just on the top of my list there. I don't know if you could read that. But yeah, Marco Polo, very, very interesting, you know, again, to dice rolling worker placement game. But it looks nice. The components are nice. I like the fact that, you know, you're not just picking up cubes, which represent camels. You're actually picking up camels, which represent camels, and spice bags, which represent spice bags. That just adds so much.
Oh, it's fantastic. And we had a funny experience at Dice Tower Con because we were playing with Tony and Tyler, and they're from Canada. And whoever taught Tony the game, this lady kept calling these camels ducks because they're kind of orange. And when they sit on the board, they actually do have a little bit like they're on a pond.
Yeah.
And he kept calling them ducks. So do you want some ducks? And ducks? We couldn't figure out what he was saying, and then all of a sudden it became this standing joke. And even halfway through the game, when he knew they were camels, he still would inadvertently call them a duck. It was a lot of fun.
I made the same mistake when I opened my box. I go, look, I was showing my wife, I was going, hey, look, ducks. And she was like, no, that's a camel. I was like, no, it's ducks. And then I read the rules. It's like, okay, it's a camel.
Makes a little more sense thematically. Yeah. We had a great fun time with those two guys. They were a blast.
Okay.
So we're going to move on to our next segment, which is the good.
Let's put a big echo on that sound. The good.
The good.
Okay.
Yeah, and here we've got the original cartoon, The Grinch. But the Grinch has got that big smiley face where he's getting ready to pull up the sled because his heart has grown 3 sizes. And what does he say?
He says, oh, it's gone. I love thinking about the best board games of 2015. Oh.
He's wonderful.
Oh, so sweet.
Don't you love that moment when the Grinch heart grows 3 sizes?
Anyway,
so tell us what your 5th top game of the year is.
My 5th top game of the year. This is really hard because my list of good is longer than my list of bad, which is longer than my list of ugly games. And so it was really hard to pick 5 really good games. So maybe next year we'll just do 10,
20,
20, 30.
Hey, this year was fantastic, wasn't it?
It wasn't too bad. I seem to play games which were like, yeah. And there was very rarely a really good game which kind of like just made my heart stop and make butter melt next to me and things like that. But
wow.
But for you, it was good, was it?
Oh, for me, I just think this was one of the best years that I can remember in a long time. I mean, we've had good games come out, but this year it just seemed like there was a plethora of good games that we saw anyway in the States. And maybe it's because I'm a little bit of a selective buyer and I research before I purchase a game. But I've had some games that I just adore.
Yeah, I found a lot of the games that I kind of stumbled on were all dice rolling worker placement games.
Ooh. The creepy door.
Yeah, it's the Grinch.
It's kind of a scary Christmas show.
It is.
Oh, the hat just got stolen.
It did. Oh dear.
That's your little one, isn't it?
That's my little one.
That was awesome. Okay, go ahead. Give us your top 5.
My top 5, starting at number 5. 5. It's all going off. Everyone's phoning me at once now. My number 5 is The Pursuit of Happiness, which is a worker placement game without the dice.
Okay.
And it's very original theming. It's like living life. You start off as a young child and you earn some pocket money and you pick up an ability, whether you be a geek, which will give you like a +1 in knowledge, or whether you're a sporty kind of college boy type, which will give you 1 in energy or something like that, or socialness. And you live your life. There's like set amount of rounds, and you just work a placement. You can go and do some cool things like hang out, or you can try and find a job, or you can just do something on the side. And all these little cards coming in front of you, and each card has more and more skills or ways to get money or other attributes like socialness and coolness and things like that. And it just kind of flowed. The game flowed, and it was really interesting how you create like a life out of a board game. I can't really explain more than that. There's just so many different cards with so many different attributes. You could get married. You could find a girlfriend and then spend a lot of time, because you only have like a certain amount of time, and your time is where you're allocating your workers, so to speak. And you'd have to spend a lot of time working on your girlfriend to make her your wife. And so you're like, you're kind of like choosing your route where you want to go. Do you want to concentrate solely on a career, like what I did? I concentrated on being like a weather TV presenter, and then each time I wanted to progress and upgrade my work, I had to spend lots of time progressing. So it was really, really thematic, and it felt really, really good.
Wow.
Really enjoyable. It's beautiful art. It's very simple if you know what worker placement games are, and it just feels like you're living a life in a short time of about an hour. And it was incredible.
Oh, I've heard some really good things about it. The way you're describing it sounds like a lot of fun. Very thematic.
I hope it was like I can't think of the word now. I hope that the way I described it kind of like made sense, because I was just jumping from one place, lily pad, to another there, I think. Ready?
Yeah, I'm gonna probably do. I'm not gonna do a ton of explanation on my games that just for time's sake here, but I do have an honorable mention that I'm gonna throw in there. Breaking the rules again.
You're doing it again.
Breaking the rules, but I couldn't not say this one because I just really think it's fantastic. My son owns this game. It comes from Fantasy Flight Games, and it's Forbidden Stars. And this game is just fantastic. The miniatures, the battle mechanism of the card play, in my opinion, just that could be a game. It's so fantastic. The way the warp moves, and just the area control, the map selection, how you start out the game. It's just fantastic. It's a great game. I would highly recommend Forbidden Stars from Fantasy Flight Games. But my number 5, and this is so hard for me, and so I haven't played.
That was 5.5, was it? Forbidden Stars.
5.5 was Forbidden Stars.
Bit like my 15.5.
Yeah, exactly. That was funny. But my number 5 is a game that I would not think that I would like. I'm generally not a big party game player. When I first seen this game, it was in prototype form by a very young, enthusiastic representative from Czech Games that had a little prototype with little pieces of paper. And I thought, oh no, here I get stuck playing this thing, and I don't know what's up, and this is not the kind of game I like. But after we played it, I just couldn't handle it. Josh did such a fantastic job from Czech Games. He's the U.S. representative. And of course, it's Code Names. We just wanted to play again. You've got this little 5x5 grid, and you've got the spy master who's trying to tell you what, trying to get you to guess the certain words, and he can give you a clue that pertains to several of these words, but they have to match up with the little map that the spy master has, and you're trying to give this clue to your spies to get them to say this, and whichever team gets the clues first wins. And there's just always such great interaction. We just played it at the lodge here. We ended up playing 2 full games. We were just going to play one because we didn't have much time, but that's the beauty of the game. You can sit down and play the game in 15, 20, 30 minutes, depending on your group. And it's quick, it's accessible, and it's always a blast. Code Names by Czech Games, top 5 of 2015.
Yeah, I want to check that one out one day.
It's beautiful, dude. You got to get it.
I'm just, again, it's the language barrier here. Do I play it in French or do I play it in English?
Oh boy, yeah, that could be a challenge. Play it in English.
Yeah. I've got to find some English people to play it with.
Yeah, right. Your number 5.
My number 4.
Oh, you did 4, 5. Yeah, doi, doi, doi.
Doi, doi, doi. You count up, I count down. We're going to play the game here. My number 4, actually, the other day, Sunday, I actually met the designer at a special event.
Wow.
For this game. It's a game which I just found out from him. He created, basically, he was trying to create a game for people with mental abilities. Try and create something simple that they could keep them entertained and you know, and teach them things.
You mean mental abilities like mind power, like I can read your mind, or what kind of mental abilities are you talking about?
Squirrel. Did you say something?
Yeah, you said mental abilities.
Yeah, I know, and I was pretending that you were taking over my brain, but obviously that didn't convey very well.
These are not the droids you're looking for.
These are not the tambourines I'm looking for. Jingle bell, jingle bell.
You will undo the restraints and drop your weapon.
No, I don't want to drop it. It's swollen.
Okay, go ahead, brother.
Okay, yeah, sorry. It's a game which is based on dominoes. Guess what it is?
It's on dominoes. I saw this. I don't remember the name.
It's called Sapiens.
Oh yeah, Sapiens.
Yes, this is by, you can get this now where you are, by Yellow Games, and it's a game where you're laying out a trail of dominoes style tiles, and it's basically you're leading your tribe from one cave to another, and you're collecting food points, and you get cave points if you arrive in the right cave. And there's a bit of player interaction because you can summon bears and block squares on other players' mats. You can cause fights with other players and like steal food resources. And it has that wonderful mechanic at the end of the game where you have 2 scores going up. You have one for your cave points and one for your food points. And it's your lowest score, which is going to be your end score. It's colorful. It's aimed at families, but it's slightly hard for young families. It's a very, very thinky because it's a domino game and you're all taking from a pool in the middle. Very colorful, very thinky, my type of game, and it's family friendly, but for grown up, you know,
sure.
12 plus adult. But very, very.
I've heard some people say some good things about that one. Awesome.
Yeah. Yes.
Well, I have a game that I played at Dice Tower Con again with Sean Ramirez. I have a caveat here, and I probably wouldn't normally do this. This is the only game on my list that I did this.
Is this 4.5 or 4.5?
No, this is actually my 4th best of the year, but I've only played it once. I just received my Kickstarter version. That's the reason why I haven't played it more. We have this slated to play next week with our game group. Mm-hmm. But this was one of my most pleasant, best experiences of Dice Tower Con with Sean Ramirez. And this game is fantastic. It's a bag building game. It's made by Tasty Minstrels Games.
Orleans.
Did you guess?
Yeah, Orleans.
It's Orleans.
Orleans. Oh, I can't even say it. I say the American word, and you say tomato. And I say tomato.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Orleans, I just thought this was fantastic. It's a bag building, and you're grabbing your little guys and you're putting them on different sections, and there's multiple ways of getting points. The game is produced beautifully. The deluxe edition has extra thick tiles and lots of stickers. If that's the only thing I would say, that doing all the stickers is really kind of a pain, but
yeah, I can imagine.
The production is beautiful. The gameplay is, I just love it. And without belaboring it, I just had to put it as my top 4 because I loved it that much. And I know that I will, it's my kind of game. I will play this over and over again.
Yeah, I haven't played it, but my wife has, and she didn't understand the rules, but she enjoyed the experience that she had. And she almost won as well because she's lucky like that.
Well, Sean read the rules for the first time, and he read these things like in 15 minutes and was able to teach it. So the accessibility and while there's a lot of selection, a lot of choices, it wasn't like it wasn't intuitive. I mean, it made sense. I was able to grab a hold of it right away, and yet, there's a lot of depth to the game. So I love the fact that you can have a game that's really strategic, has a lot of options, and yet it's easy to get into. It's not like you have to gruel for 3 hours over complex rules that don't make sense or that kind of thing.
Yeah. Okay.
So, Orleon, Tasty Minstrel Games, my number 4.
Okay, my number 3. I'm gonna dub like some super cool voice over the top.
Yeah, do it.
Barry's good, number 3. What's on? Barry's good, number 3. Anyway, game beside myself. Probably this is probably my most favorite cooperative game because it feels like a cooperative game. There's none of this alpha gamer kind of syndrome whenever I've played it, because there is so much information for you to absorb. Each player has to absorb what they have in front of them, what the other board, what the player board is like, and then what the other players are doing. And you're all communicating because you're saying what your results are, you're saying what you're planning on doing, and then you're pointing out things which people have missed. Oh, that baddie's going to shoot you there if you don't move, or if you need some shields. And this game is called Apocalypse Chaos.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Really, really brings out the communication in a group. There's 2 seconds of silence when everyone rolls their dice, and then there's this good 5-minute discussion that you have of what you're going to do on this one turn. Unlike in Pandemic or something like that, where you're like, oh, it's my turn. What should I do, guys? Should I move here and clean that? But this is like everyone's got to decide what they're going to do at the same time, and they've all got to decide and point out the weaknesses of the baddies. What's it best to do? Is it best to kill this guy? Is it best to get rid of the bosses? Is it best to get rid of the weakest guy because you can get their equipment and use the equipment as a special ability? Really, really intense. Really, really fun. I love this game, and I need to play it with a good group of people. I've been playing it solo. I've been playing it with groups of people, but I need to play it with a group of people so I can play through the missions, because there's like a progressive story mission thing.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, and I want to start doing that now, because I've been just playing the basic setup, and it's fun still, but I just want to see what the story does and all these extra little powers and extra characters which come into the game do as well. So, Apocalypse Chaos, my number 3.
Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah, my number 3 is a game that just recently came out. There was some availability at Gen Con, but has recently just made it to distribution. It's made by Gray Fox Games, and it has a fantastic Viking theme. I actually got to demo this game at Board Game Geek Con for Gray Fox Games, and this game has almost all the things that I love. It has theme, it has dice, and it has dice in a way that you can mitigate the dice a bit. It has worker placement. It's just all around my type of game. Number 3, Champions of Midgard.
I thought it was Blood Rage.
For glory. Champions of Midgard. This game by Gray Fox is just fantastic. Not only do I think, Gray Fox, I got to tell you something. Watch out for this company. They're doing some special things. They've got another game that I didn't put on my list, but I'm going to talk about later when we get to our Christmas gifts that you can buy for Christmas.
What should I look out for? Are they going to like eat my chickens? Yeah,
they'll do that.
Yeah.
And your ducks. And your camels.
Marco!
But Champions of Midgard, you've got different monsters. You've got trolls. You've got these undead Viking guys, monsters. You've got the different monsters in the sea, and that you have to go on sea journeys. You've got all these different worker placement. Your dice are your warriors, and you've got sword warriors, and you've got berserker warriors, and you've got spear warriors, and and you got to get resources to go on these journals. You can get rune cards that give you special abilities and end game scoring, and you have these event cards basically that help you with a little clairvoyance when you go on these journeys to fight. When you're fighting these monsters over the sea, you got to go to this event first, and there could be a kraken in there, or you could have a storm and lose some goods, or so you got to kind of plan for that. And everybody has a special player ability, and they're not overpowered, but they're unique, so you feel like you're that person. Getting sets of these different colors of monsters gives you extra end game scoring, and it's just fantastic. I mean, had this not been such a strong year, this would have been a top one game for me. It has elements of Lords of Waterdeep. It has elements of Stone Age. I would put it in that type of game. I love Stone Age. I love Lords of Waterdeep with the Skullport expansion. A little birdie told me that there may be some expansions coming out for this game. And if that happens, and I believe it will, this game will launch upwards. So I think there'll be a ton of replayability. Right now, I think that's maybe a little bit of the concern is, you know, how long are you going to want to play this game? But I don't know. I'm excited to play it anytime. I've played it 7 or 8 times. So
yeah, it's a game which I think I would really appreciate. Excuse me. Just the ideas and the mechanics sound really great. I mean, if I'd played this, it might be my #1 game.
Yeah,
might be.
Well, this would be a great game to have on Board Game Arena or something of those platforms too. And to make an iOS version of this game, I think would be hugely successful. So,
talking of Board Game Arena, is there any problems with Board Game Arena at the moment? Because every time I try and load it up, it crashes.
Well, I haven't been on it recently, so I don't know, but you know, Tabletopia or whatever. But Champions of Midgard from Grey Fox Games, they hit it out of the park with this one, and really was proud to work with them and to be able to demonstrate a game that I love so much. I just think it's fantastic.
Cool.
So #2 for you, Barry.
#2 for me is a game which involves marbles.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna be able to guess this one.
Potion Explosion.
Potion Explosion!
Yeah, yes. This game is just a great family game where you're making potions by collecting bees from a rack, marbles from a rack, in a kind of Candy Crush style. And there's lots of secret powers when you drink these potions, and it's just a race to get as many points as you possibly can. Great, easy to get into, but there's lots of strategy on how you use the potions and if you should take -1 points just to get an extra ball. Fantastic game. It just goes down well everywhere.
Who makes that?
That is Horrible Games, but I think it's been published by Call Me or Not over your way.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, I think.
I don't think it's available yet then. Here.
No. They've had some printing problems, unfortunately, with the marble dispenser, and some of my marbles are a bit deformed as well. So I should be receiving pretty soon. Yeah, it's Call Me or Not.
Oh, wonderful.
So yeah, they printed a bucket load for Essen, and unfortunately, they discovered when they printed them that there were some problems, and so they're working on getting it all fixed and sorted for a second printing, and hopefully you'll get that soon and you'll be able to play this game because it is a really great game, really fun.
Well, we're going to be doing a show January 3rd, and we're going to be talking about some things about 2015, some of our experiences and some of the up and coming things. And I would encourage everybody to check out that show because we're going to really do an overview of a lot of things other than just our top 10. But Cool Mini or Not, I think, is probably going to be in that conversation because they are really doing some fantastic things. And now, before we go to our top #1, oh no, I got to do #2.
You got to do your #2.
Oh, I can't forget this.
Excuse me a minute. Sorry. Excuse me a minute while I go and do #2.
I'm so excited.
You are. I just want to jump to #1.
Excited. I just can't hide it. So this game, one of my favorite people in the industry, someone who I really respect.
Tom Vassell.
Yes, I respect Tom Vassell.
I've ruined it.
But it's not Tom Vassell.
Okay.
Is a gentleman I got to meet a few years ago at Gen Con. Ended up talking to him for 20 minutes, waiting to get into the hall, and just a lovely guy. He's designed a ton of different card games. The guy, I think, is a brilliant designer. His name is Mike Fitzgerald, and he made a game called Diamonds, and we got to talk about that game last year. But he came out with a new game that had a theme that I enjoy, but you don't have to play the game with this theme. But this game went to the #1 of my deck builders. I love deck building. Okay, Core Worlds was my favorite deck building game by Stronghold Games. I really enjoy Dominion. I like Trains. There's a lot of deck builders that I really enjoy. But this game, I just love the way it came out. And it's Baseball Highlights 2045 from Eagle Griffin Games. Ralph Anderson was really instrumental in a lot of the artwork and developing the theme in this game, along with Mike Fitzgerald. The asynchronous gameplay, having these cyborg cards, having the robot cards, having the naturals. The naturals, where there's this huge, wonderful story behind this game where the naturals, very few humans could actually compete with these robots and the cyborg players, but there was just a few of them, and these naturals were hugely popular. There's a drafting mechanism. After you play with your basic team, all of a sudden you're able to purchase additional cards to improve your team. And knowing that, should I give up this robot that has home runs, but he doesn't have a lot of purchasing power, but I really like his home run ability. So do I sacrifice not being able to draft? The tension of that. And then you can play to a World Series. The component quality of the game, that's this beautiful linen cards. I mean, Eagle Griffin did a fantastic, the artwork, I can't say enough about this game. If there wasn't for another game that I just super adore, this would have made my #1. It's so fantastic. I know. Baseball Highlights 2045. It is fantastic. If you like deck building, you don't have to be a baseball fan. I just go get it. Go get it. Go buy it. It's just fantastic, Barry.
Yeah, okay. So you're going goo for Pandy Pops.
Oh, just knock it out of the park. That's what Eagle Griffin did.
They knocked it out of the park.
Yeah, Baseball Highlights 2045.
They seem to do that every now and again. They seem to bring out some mediocre games, and then they bring out every now and again one which is like really unique and exquisite and incredible.
Yeah, they've been doing a lot of really great stuff. I've gotten an opportunity to meet Rick Scrand, one of the vice presidents of marketing, and a super neat guy. And Jason Grants works for them, and I know him, and got to meet some of the people, and they're just a lot of fun to be around, and just really good time.
Okay. Before we get to our #1s, have we mentioned the competition?
That's exactly where we wanted to go with this. We have a contest. And future Barry, you can maybe put this right at the beginning of the show where it maybe should have been. But we're going to be announcing the winner January 3rd on our show. But it's a very simple process for you to join in. We've got 2 items. We've got from No Chance Games. You can see this here, No Chance Games. We have the Treasury. And the Treasury is a set of paper money replacement cards that you can trick out your game with. And it's just fantastic. These cards are really high quality, nice linen feature. They come in denominations of 1, 2, 5, 10, 50, and 100. So you can use them as victory points. They can be hidden points. You can use them as paper money. Really great job by No Chance Games. And we're going to give away a copy of that in addition to that, we are going to give away this really cool, look at this, Dragon map, Dragon playmat by Robert Burke Games. Robert Burke has done Draco Magi, Operation Faust, many other games. This is a really beautiful, the artwork is just fantastic. And courtesy of No Chance Games and Robert Burke Games, we're going to give away these 2 items. And all you have to do is go to the Facebook page, Burky and Badger, or go to our guild, or you can check us out on our Twitter feeds. Here's my Twitter feed. You can find me at Kimpek, Kimpek, or you can find Barry Doublet
at T-Balance O Power. The Balance of Power. T-Balance O Power. Woo!
And you can let us know what, you can also go to our website, boardgametheater.com, and the Burky and Badger page, and you can email us if you'd like. But just tell us what your favorite accessory for your games are. What do you like to trick out or pimp out your games? And that will get you an entry. And if you do it on all of those formats, we're going to give you an entry, and we are going to pull the winner out of a hat on January 3rd. So jump in on the contest.
Yeah, and don't forget YouTube. This video right here, right now. If you're watching the video right here, right now.
YouTube. Yeah, if you're live, go for it. We'll be having an audio version coming out of this sometime around the first part of the year as well. So
yeah, hopefully when I get back. Okay.
Well, excellent. Our number 1, Barry, your number 1 game of 2045. No.
Do you want to guess?
2015.
2000. Yeah, sports 2000. Yeah. Okay.
I do want to guess. I think I might know, but was this a Kickstarter game?
No.
Oh, then I don't know. Go ahead and describe it a little bit, and then let me guess.
Okay, I'll describe it very simply. It's a game you've already mentioned.
Oh, it's a game I already mentioned? Well, it's got to be Marco Polo or New York 1901. I'm going to say New York 1901.
It is indeed New York 1901.
Ah.
A really simple, but at the same time very deep strategy Tetris game where you're building skyscrapers all over Manhattan. Is it Manhattan? Well, America. Somewhere in that big bit of land over there somewhere.
One of those big cities.
Yeah, one of those big cities. Oh, this game is just a delight to play. It gave me that same feeling when the first time I played Ticket to Ride. It just like, wow, this is a board game? This is fantastic. I want more. And it just, the simple mechanic of just taking a card and building a skyscraper, but then there's this complex puzzle of how you're going to get these tiles into the spaces of the plots of land you built, and then you're trying to get extra points by building these skyscrapers next to the roads, which are going to give you bonus points. And then there's another bonus points method on top of that to get bonus points on. This game is just fun and very, very family friendly. Yes, dude.
Friendly family.
It's a friendly family. I can't praise this game enough. Hopefully there will be more expansions and maybe other cities, so like San Francisco 1906.
Oh, that would be fantastic.
You got to build bridges or something, or a New York 1901 card game. Maybe something like.
We tried to play this at Gen Con, and we weren't able to get in on the table. Was booked all the time, and my daughter and I really wanted to play it, and then when it finally came available, we were so thrilled. And then when we played, it met all of our expectations.
Yeah, unfortunately I've heard some bad things about the game from Essen, and they were due to the fact that the people that were teaching the game weren't teaching it properly, and so people couldn't get into this really simple, easy to learn game, which I find a bit strange, because it is really simple to teach.
Oh yeah, we didn't have any problem with it at all.
Yeah, but it's not nice to hear, but it is a fantastic game, and I will be trying to get this to the table every chance I get this Christmas, because it is just magnifique. My number one, New York, 1901, and it, yeah.
Well done, Barry. Well done. Well, my number one, for those of you that have followed us on Board Game Theater, you'll probably know what this is. But the theme of this game, the designer of this game, the production of this game, the company behind this game,
Cool, man.
everything, number one.
Eric.
It's Cards Against Humanity.
You have got to be beep.
It's Blood Rage. Is that fantastic or what?
I haven't played
Blood Rage. You see the reflection. There you go, Blood Rage. This is produced by Cool Mini or Not.
With the reflection, it looks like Snow Rage.
Yeah, Snow Rage. This has got everything I love. I mean, the miniatures are fantastic. The drafting of the gameplay, there's 3 ages of Ragnarok. We did Board Game Theater. We actually had Lance Meister help us, and we did an express version that you can go and watch on our YouTube channel or our Facebook page or our Twitter channel. It's all linked there. But we actually did 3 ages of Ragnarok, which are 3 30-minute episodes showing the gameplay. This has nothing to do with, we didn't make any money by doing Blood Rage on Board Game Theater. We did it because we loved the game. And seriously, this game is so fantastic. The artwork on the board, I love. The theme of Vikings. You don't even have to win the battles to score points. You can go to Valhalla and get different quests that allow you. And you have this rage system that is basically your action movement, and you have to manage your rage, but you also have to get these horns so that you can get more players on the board, and you want to get the axes so that you can get more glory points for winning different battles. And then you get to bring these really cool monsters on the board, and you get to upgrade your clans by these different cards. And the theme of this game is just oozes out of it, all of the Norse mythology. I've played this game about 8 or 9 times now. Every time it was exciting, every time it was new. I'm still excited to play this game. I want to go play this game right now. I mean, if I can get people to play, I want to play. I've got the Kickstarter version. I was able to get a late backing that's coming out in January, where I'm going to have some of the exclusives, and I can't wait to get that. And I'm so excited. I might even, I paint wildlife, but I might take some lessons here and paint my miniatures. That's how excited I am about this game. I can't say enough. It by far is my #1 game of the year, and it very possibly may be my #1 game of all time.
Wow.
That's how much fantastic. I love it.
Wow.
And Cool Mini or Not, just like we were saying, they've been knocking it out of the park. I mean, they aren't just doing miniature games anymore. They are doing high-quality gamer games. And this is indicative of that.
Yeah. I mean, I was surprised that they picked up The Grizzled, because it was published here in France by a small company. And for them to pick it up and do it, is totally out of the blue. And obviously it's done the world a favor, because it has boosted its rating right through the sky. Everyone's been talking about this as game of the year, The Grizzled. But
yeah, I really enjoyed it. I got to work with Jared and Spencer from Cool Mini or Not too, and they were real gracious to help us with a fantastic contest where we were able to give away a Kickstarter version and a signed version that I purchased at Gen Con and had it signed by Eric Lang, and we had Lance Meister sign it. And the people who were able to be a part of the show, we've actually almost had 2,000 views to our videos and getting overwhelming responses. And a lot of that has to do with the game. The theme of this game is so fantastic. It's produced well, and we were able to have a lot of fun playing around the themes. So, yeah, number 1, Blood Rage by Cool Me or Not.
So there you have it, folks. That's our 10 good, bad, and ugly. It wasn't exactly 10 of each, but we kind of knocked this show together kind of almost last minute, but not last minute. But it wasn't going to happen, then it was going to happen, then it wasn't going to happen, then it was going to happen, and maybe next year we'll be a bit more organized.
Well, and I think too, this is board gaming taste. This is board gaming personalities. You know, there's games that I haven't played that maybe would have made the list. I don't know. There's so many, but these are the games that I like, and I tend to fall into that medium weight gamer. I like some heavy Euros. I generally don't like party games and co-ops. There's a few co-ops that I do like. There's a few party games that I like, but for a party game like Codenames to make the list, and some deeper strategy games, I just know what to say. What a great, fantastic year.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about just a couple items real quick, and we're going to close up the show, but just a couple thoughts that we have about some games that might go over great for your Christmas list, or games that you might want to play with your families at Christmas time. And Barry has 3 games he's going to mention real quick, and I'm going to mention 3. And we're going to end and wish you a Merry Christmas with that.
Okay, yeah, these are 3 games that I would recommend to anybody. These are going to be timeless classics throughout the history of board gaming, I believe, because they're just going to go down really well. You know, like Trivial Pursuit kind of did. But
yeah, and these don't have to be games that came from 2015. These are just games that we think are great for this time of year and any time, really. But
yeah. So for me, my number 3 is a game called Timeline, which is a small tin box of about 110 cards. And it's a very simple game of just putting these cards into a chronological order, and each player will have a set amount of cards, and they're playing one at a time, and then squeeze them in between 2 other cards and try and get the right time. And there are lots of expansions and lots of different versions of this game. You can have inventions, you can have sports, you can have music and film, and it's what Trivial Pursuit should have been. Small, cheap, inexpensive, easy to play, very quick to learn, and it plays up to 8 players, and it's fantastic fun.
Yeah, my number 3 is a similar type of category, and it's a game by Robert Burke Games that actually did come out this year, but it's called Operation Faust. And Operation Faust is just this wonderful game that it has a little bit of deduction to it, but you're trying to save these classic artwork that are trying to be stolen. But what's really great about this compared to other games like Resistance and so forth is that there's no player elimination in the game. There's a way for you to stay in the game. He's got this fantastic player mat that goes with it. The card play is real simple. It has a little bit of that love letter-ish feel, coup, type of vibe to it, Resistance, Avalon. But the theme of it, I just thought was fantastic. And that not having player elimination, engaging everybody right through the whole game, I just thought it was really great the way that game came out. So my kudos to that, to Robert Burke. But if a game you haven't tried and you like to have a bigger group, I'd highly recommend it.
Okay, my number 2 is a game for you Scrabblites. It's a game called Quirkle. Plays like Scrabble, but it's not Scrabble. You don't need to spell. You just need to put shapes in rows or colors in rows. It's as simple as that. But there is the fun factor in the game. It is incredibly fun. It feels like Scrabble, and your board can go almost off the table because there is no board. You're just making lines and lines and lines. It's an incredibly fun game. It resembles, again, something which you already know how to play, and it's so competitive. That's my number 2.
Quirkle. My wife is a Scrabbleite, and I've actually thought about this one for Christmas. This might be a really great idea for me to grab for a great New Year's Eve type of game and all that.
Yeah. Would you beautify it somehow?
I'm not sure. It already comes in nice little blocks and all that, right?
Yeah, but you wouldn't carve them out of gold or something like that and make it like
maybe.
Or a giant version to fill your table.
Yeah, giant Quirtle. Well, my number 2 is a game by Gray Fox Games, and it's just been released. I believe that there was a version before in Europe that's been released, if I understand it right. But it's a game called Deception: Murder in Hong Kong. And for me, a lot of people raved about Mysterium. I was kind of okay with Mysterium. I actually like the Polish version better than the US version. But Deception: Murder in Hong Kong, you basically have these 2 rows of items in front of you, and somebody's the murderer, someone's the accomplice. Dan King, the Game Boy geek, was running around evangelizing this game at Board Game Geek Con. and we played it with, I played it with Joel Eddy and Lance Meister and some others, Dan King, and we just had a super blast. Richard Ham was there, and we played with him. Sean from Dukes of Dice, and this game, Suzanne from Board Game App, she was there. We got to play with her, and everybody was digging on this game. You're the FBI agent. I even got to be the FBI agent, and that's where you're kind of giving clues to the people. It's got that Avalon Resistance feel. It's got that Mysterium Spyfall-ish kind of feel, and I don't know. For me, it's the best of all of them. And this isn't the kind of game I like, but I love this one. So I played it about 6 times, I think. Enjoyed it every time. I just got my copy. It's on my shelf of shame now because I haven't opened it yet.
Dun, dun, dun.
Deception: Murder in Hong Kong. Gray Fox Games. I'm telling you, watch out for this company. I think they're doing some really special things.
Yes. And now, my number 1 party game that you should be playing for Christmas is a very simple game called Telestrations. It's Chinese whispers with drawing and writing. You're basically given a word. You have to draw an image of what represents that word in a very limited time before passing your book on to the next player, who looks at your picture and then has to write down what they think that word is, who passes it to the next person, who has to then draw what that word was written down, etc. This game is just hilarious. Don't play for scoring. Don't play for points. Don't play for glory. Just play for a family fun time. This is the best time to have a good laugh. And it plays up to 8 players. Or if you buy the special edition version, which plays up to 16 players. Or you can buy 2 copies and then play 16 players. Or you could buy 4 copies and then play. Anywho, Telestrations is my recommendation. The game you should play for Christmas.
Well, the last game that I think you should play, my number 1, I already mentioned in my top 5 of 2015, but it's Codenames. It's just a fantastic game to get a bunch of people together, and you can have a spy master, and you can have 4 people on each spy team, so you can really play 10 people if you want to. Play fine with 4 people. So it's just a blast. It's quick. It's accessible. It's easy to teach people. It's kind of almost like a throwback to Password, almost in a way. But it's so easy to get people into it. And you teach the thing in 5 minutes, so non-gamers, gamers alike will enjoy it. It's very engaging. It's affordable. So if you can find it available, I think there's availability now because they just came out with the new printing. But you can find this game for $15, $20, and man, you can't go wrong with it. So highly recommend. And the replayability is crazy. I mean, there's tons of cards, tons of maps, so you can play and play and play and never have the same game.
Yeah, sounds like my type of game. Need to get it. Need to get it. Well, there you go, chaps and chappets and people and viewers. That was our top 10 good, bad, and the ugly, and our top 3 recommendations for Christmas games that you should be playing this Christmas with your families and friends. Yes, what he said. Okay, don't forget to enter our competition on Facebook or on this YouTube video or on the Board Game Theatre or on our Twitter or on our Board Game Geek Guild. Number 2248. Yes, that's the one.
2248. Yeah, check us out. We'll have this in the show notes. We'll have all these places you can jump on. And all you got to do is tell us what your favorite accessories are for your games. You're going to see it, Facebook, Burky and Badger. You're going to find us at Board Game Theater on our Burky and Badger page, or Twitter, or Board Game Geek. I can't say it either. Our Guild 2248. Woohoo! Well, Barry, I want to wish you a very Merry Christmas. And all of you that listen, thanks so much for joining us as we started this podcast. It's a joy for us to talk about games and just act silly and be ourselves. We're not trying to overproduce this. We're just trying to have a lot of fun. And that's why we get together. And Barry, I'm so glad to have gotten to know you and to be able to connect with you in this way, and for us to share our love and passion for the hobby.
Yeah, it's been a fantastic time. Just meeting you on the web and then just hitting up. We just kind of like sparked, and we just have a good laugh. I'm really worried about what it's going to be like when we actually sit face to face on a table playing a game. We're probably going to scare a lot of people away. But
I don't think so.
I wish you the best of Christmases as well, Kevin. And for all of you guys watching, I hope you have a good Christmas, and we will catch you soon. Our next show is actually the 2nd of January, which is a Saturday. We haven't
January
got a time.
2nd.
Yeah, not the 3rd. It's the 2nd. I'll have to correct that in editing as well. I'll have to mimic you.
No. January 2nd.
Yes.
January 2nd. January 2nd.
And hopefully we'll have our special guest with us, and we'll be talking about reflecting on 2015 in general, not just the board games, but the events and the things that have happened to us, and maybe something Star Wars. I said it. There you go. There you go. I said Star Wars and I said Tom Vassell, and that's it. Every show, there's always a reference to the two.
Merry Christmas.
And a Merry Christmas to you all. Thank you all very much. Good night, good day, and wherever you are, and speak to you soon.
All right. Play some games.